Hi everyone, this is me, eating one of my roommate's protein bars. My roommate might have an idea about where her protein bar went, but she might not know where its wrapper went and what it could be used for. Here in Alachua County, solid waste is collected and transported to the county-owned Levita Brown Environmental Park and Transfer Station for resource recovery and processing. From there, it is sent off to New River Landfill, 35 minutes north in Rayford, Florida. New River Landfill is soon to join many other landfills in Florida that are using their waste to generate energy.
With landfills such as New River Landfill, when waste is broken down anaerobically without oxygen, it generates gases that are composed of about half methane and half CO2. The issue there is that methane is about 25 to 34 times more potent than carbon dioxide in terms of its effect on global warming. At New River Landfill, gas generated by the breakdown of waste inside the landfill is collected in pipes. So they're hoping to be able to set up a waste to energy facility at New River Landfill to A, get rid of the gases going into the environment, and B, make use of them to generate energy. Some of the challenges of setting up that waste to energy facility were actually economics. We spoke with Joel at New River Landfill, and he was explaining that without the incentive of carbon credits, it would probably not have been possible for them to set up the waste to energy facility. So companies can be issued permits or certificates called carbon credits that allow them to emit greenhouse gases. One carbon credit allows a company to emit 1 metric ton of carbon dioxide or an equivalent greenhouse gas. This is important because it incentivizes companies to make strides to reduce greenhouse gas emissions through other methods like solar panels, planting trees, or buying landfill gas rather than natural gas. Additionally, another thing that makes waste to energy more feasible at the New River Landfill is the fact that they have a very consistent type of municipal solid waste that comes in. That makes the gas that's generated consistent quality, and that makes it easier to send it off to a waste to energy facility where it can be treated and used to generate electricity.
Switching gears to the Cebu province of the Philippines, a study in Cebu City is underway to assess the feasibility of a waste to energy facility that generates energy by burning trash itself rather than using landfill gas as we saw in New River Landfill. The purpose of the facility would be to make use of some of the 1.1 million cubic meters of waste in the city's recently closed Inayawan landfill.
My name is Ariane Lazaro, and I grew up in Lapu-Lapu City in Mactan Island in Cebu City. I moved to the United States when I was 11 years old, and I went back about 4 years ago.
Um, when you were there, what was your experience just in general with solid waste?
To be honest, from my experience living there, there isn't really a waste management plan, as in people just dump their trash when wherever there was space. So I came from a family that kind of, to be honest, had a little bit of class privilege. So we had people that would pick up trash for us. They're not necessarily people that work for the government, but just people that we hired to take care of the trash and take it somewhere else where we don't really see it.
I gotcha. Okay. I just wanted to explain a little bit. So, in Cebu City, which is in the same province as Lapu-Lapu City, their landfill is called Inayawan, and it was officially closed on September 7th this year, 2018. In June of the same year, 2018, they started pre-feasibility studies to see if they could implement a waste-to-energy facility for the landfill's waste. And so now that it's closed, they would have to go in and mine whatever trash is combustible and bring it to this waste-to-energy facility that they're proposing and burn it there. So the issue is not just here, but in other cities in the province of Cebu, that waste to energy treatment plants have a lot of different challenges associated with them. One of them being that the Philippine Clean Air Act of 1999 actually bans incineration in general. So burning waste is technically illegal, and so that law itself prohibits the use of waste-to-energy facilities. Also, the cost of the facility would be pretty expensive, and really the main issue in general is that it's hard to have waste collected and segregated in the first place. I read that some people have the mindset, like, not in my backyard, like, I don't want a landfill near me. Do you think you'd be able to, like, speak to that attitude at all?
The Philippines is a very, the wealth gap in the Philippines is very different, as for the education levels as well. So there are very educated people that I feel would support this, but for half of the country, unfortunately, they don't have access to those resources, and they may not understand the rationale behind this waste-to-energy or segregation facility. They have the mentality that, oh, as long as trash is, like you said, not in my backyard, I don't have to worry about it. So I think that might be a big barrier, is just trying to get people on board and understand why this is important and why it's an issue. Oh, speaking on that too, like with the lack of awareness for climate change and with the current politics in the environment in the Philippines right now, some scientists have been a little bit silenced, just because like it's just a very turbulent environment there. There hasn't really been a push to understand the benefits of recycling and just an understanding of how greenhouse gases work. So educating the people would be one of the biggest barriers that I feel.
One of the methods they actually tried to use in Cebu City is called no segregation, no collection. In Cebu City, they have they're able to collect people's waste. So they have that process in place, and now they're just saying you need to segregate it, and if you don't segregate your different types of waste, we won't collect it. Do you think that something like that would be a sustainable long-term method, or do you think there'd be something else that might work better to encourage people to segregate waste if a collection system was in place?
I think that would be feasible, perhaps better incentivizing people to do it rather than just having the trash there, because people can just take the trash out themselves and put it somewhere else that's not in their home. So I think that would be really effective, but really just maybe providing some, monetary benefit in addition to that will further encourage people to do it.
So as Ariane and I spoke about, for waste-to-energy facilities to be successful, it's required that they have a source of waste to draw that energy from. So in Alachua County, we don't have as much of an issue with the waste collection process itself, but we still do face issues with things like littering or trash can overflow, where trash cans in apartment complexes or on campus at the University of Florida are filled so high that the trash actually falls off the top of them into the street. So to combat those types of issues, we have programs like Adopt a Street, where volunteers sign up for a certain street and go out and clean that street 6 times per year. The last thing I wanted to ask is, from your experience living there and with your family, if you still have family living there that you visit, what assets do you think the community has that they could bring to the table to, come up with a solution, or to encourage each other to separate trash, or to encourage their government to fund different projects? What do you think the community has to offer aside just from the challenges that it faces?
I remember when I was a child, like in the Philippines, there were a couple people that would voluntarily take out the trash that was left in the parks or other people's land and just sort them themselves and put them in little plastic bags. Maybe just I think like seeing that as a child kind of empowered me in a way to be more mindful of what I throw away. One of the things that goes on there in the Philippines is some people that are squatters, they don't own land, they take the trash and then they construct it into building materials for their homes at the sides of the road. So that's one thing that they use the trash for. Like, in a way, they're innovative in how they're recycling it.
So, as we learned from speaking about with Ariane, Even though both of these places, the province of Cebu and Alachua County, are both facing the same challenge, which is the challenge of making sure we can use our waste to generate a source of energy that's more environmentally sustainable, we face different barriers, different challenges, and each of these communities also has their own set of assets, and those all need to be considered in order to come up with a solution that is sustainable and feasible in each of those communities. And whether that's a waste to energy facility or another solution, as long as it fits, you can't put a square peg in a round hole.